Hey Snapchat, I'm going to attempt to talk about term sheets. Term sheets when you get them from VCs and how to deal with them. I say attempt because I was supposed to be on a flight from New York to San Francisco. Got on the flight, we were about to depart, and therefore I popped a sleeping pill. So we were about to depart, I popped a sleeping pill. Supposed to be asleep, but I think I still have good advice for you on term sheets. The problem with term sheets when you're raising money is you may want to get offer from a couple of firms, and the first one comes in, you're under pressure. Most VCs know that the longer you have their term sheet, the more likely it is to be shopped, so they're reluctant to let it ride. Super smart VCs know that partner meetings are on Monday, so they usually try to pressure you to sign by a Sunday. It's partly the reason you want to make sure when you're raising from VCs that you have several of them running a process at the same time so they come to a conclusion at the same time. But if you get an early term sheet and you're waiting on 2 or 3 people still to decide, I'm going to help give you some delaying tactics. Delaying tactics don't mean you're not going to work with that VC. It means you just want to take your time and be sure about your decision. Here's why. VCs get it wrong and back your company, that's easy, it's a write-off. If you get the wrong VC, that could screw the next 5 to 7 years. So you really want to be sure. Even if you think it's the right VC, you want to be sure. Here's a way to slow roll the process. Number 1, ask for references. They reference you, it's fair enough that you reference in return. The way I like to think about this is to say, well, listen, we're about to make the most important decision we've ever made as a startup. Which VC to back us. So we'd like to talk to some of your previously backed companies. Here's what you want to do. Of course, they're going to ask you to talk to some of their portfolio companies that went well, but you want to ask to talk to some that didn't go well. When a company only goes up and to the right, nobody has conflict with their VC. What you really want to understand is the moral ethics and behavior of your VC in tougher times. Not only is referencing useful because it'll tell you a lot more about the person you're about to work with, but it also helps you to create a delay in managing that VC because you're doing work that they would appreciate. Don't rush to get all these calls set up right away. If you schedule them over the next 10 days, you now have a very strong excuse for not signing quick. When you have a term sheet, you cannot go to other VCs and say, I got a term sheet from X on Y prices. That's called shopping. But you can politely say, look, we've received our first term sheet. We think we have about 2 weeks to figure out what the right best fee to work with is. And we're very happy with the VC we got a term sheet with. But we've also really enjoyed our interactions with you. So if there's any way to get the term standard best practice when you get a term sheet is to try and take 2 to 3 weeks extra and race around and talk to all the other VCs that you can. Even if the first VC who submits a term sheet to you is the one you think you want to work with, it helps you with price leverage, price negotiation, and just being sure. No VC worth their salt would kick you out of a process for asking for a week to 10 days to do references. Again, never release which VC you have a term sheet from and what the terms are, because if you do, you'll show low moral ethics. And then force yourself to get to a decision over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. What you need to know is if you sign a term sheet with a venture fund, especially one that's in the Valley, almost certainly they'll stick to the terms they've. My wife tells me I need to stop snapping soon because I'm starting to look sleepy. That comes from having taken sleeping pills because I'm supposed to be. I got on the plane, I took a sleeping pill because they said we were on time, and just before we pulled out they said, psych, 4-hour delay. Nonetheless, I hope this is valuable to you. Manage your term sheet process well.